In an era where streaming services are throwing things at the wall to see what sticks and spending ridiculous amounts of money on things that nobody wants to watch, one of them quietly built one of the most intriguing and underrated TV shows I have ever watched. It's very simple: a staircase that spirals 144 levels underground, a staircase that feels heavy, noisy, and real, a staircase that people live and die on, and somehow that staircase and the world wrapped around it turned Silo into one of the most compelling sci-fi shows on TV. Today I just want to talk about why I feel Silo is one of the most underrated TV shows I've ever seen. And I'm not just going to talk about, oh, it's mysterious and the world building is cool. I want to go into specific writing choices, production design, and character work that make the show what it is and why it hits so hard. Quick heads up: light spoilers for seasons 1 and 2. I don't want you to be spoiled, but I'll try to avoid the biggest twists from the show. So without further ado, let's get into the video. At its core, Silo starts with one of the cleanest sci-fi hooks you could ask for. Humanity's last 10,000 people live in a gigantic underground silo, stretching 144 levels below the surface. They have no idea who built it or what truly happened to the world outside. They only know the rules, and that breaking those rules can get you sent out to clean. A death sentence in a toxic wasteland. That's it. That's the premise. But what makes Silo work is how ruthlessly it commits to that mystery. You don't get a lore dump, you don't get a prequel prologue with nukes falling from the sky. You're dropped into a society that already believes its own story, and everyone we meet behaves as if this world is completely normal. The show's first episodes are basically a slow motion interrogation of that quote-unquote normal. Why are there no records from before the rebellion? Why is history literally illegal to study? Why does everyone accept that the outside world is deadly when the only proof is a single heavily controlled video feed? And the more the characters question those things, the more you do too. The genius isn't just the mystery, it's that the rules of the silo are so clear and so abrasive that every tiny act of rebellion feels enormous. Asking for a hard drive, questioning a relic, asking to have a child at the wrong time, these are life-altering choices. That constant pressure cooker of rules and consequences is what hooks you for the long term. Lots of sci-fi shows say they have great world building. Silo actually builds a world. The series was shot on massive practical sets in the UK. Not just a couple of rooms and some green screens, but a multi-level central staircase and surrounding platforms. And you feel that. You feel the real set. You feel it in the way conversations happen on the move, characters walking up 30 flights just to deliver some bad news. You feel it in the way Juliet comes from the mechanical levels all the way up to the administrative floors. It's not just a cut, it's a journey that sells class and distance without a single line of exposition. Visually, the silo is layered with detail. Heavy industrial engineering down below, pipes, oil, clanking machinery. The mid-levels are cramped but communal, markets, cafeterias, shared spaces. Higher levels are cleaner, more controlled, and more surveilled. It's a literal vertical class structure. The poor and the workers are near the generators, the elites are near the screens and the servers. You immediately understand the society just by watching the people move through it. And here's the key: Silo never stops using that world building. Every plot point is rooted in physicality of the place. The number of steps, the difficulty of moving troops or information between levels, the way rumors travel faster than official memos because people literally carry them up the staircase. The environment isn't just pretty, it's part of the storytelling. And when audiences in 2025 hear mystery box sci-fi, there's quite a bit of baggage there. We've been trained to expect endless teases, fake answers. When the finale finally comes, it kind of feels like everyone just shrugs and goes, yeah, the showrunners didn't even know what they were doing. The Silo doesn't feel like that. First of all, it's already based on a book trilogy that has a definitive ending. That means there's a full story already mapped out for them. Apple has even committed to finishing it on screen. Seasons 3 and 4 have been announced as final chapters, designed to conclude the narrative, and you can feel that confidence in the way the show reveals information. Season 1 spends a lot of time in that "are we being lied to" phase. It's Juliet Nichols, an engineer from the bottom levels played by Rebecca Ferguson, slowly pulling at threads, discovering inconsistencies, and turning what seems like a cold case mystery into something much bigger. But the show doesn't hoard every answer forever. By the end of season 1, and especially across season 2, you start getting real, concrete mystery revelations about the outside, about other silos, about why history is so tightly controlled. The season 2 finale even flashes back to a pre-apocalyptic Washington, D.C., hinting at how this world came to be. What makes this satisfying is the rhythm. Each episode tends to center on one layer of mystery getting peeled back, one character making a choice under extreme pressure, and one new question being raised that reframes what we already know. So instead of endlessly stacking unanswered questions, Silo is constantly trading them, giving you something solid in exchange for something bigger to worry about. That's the difference between a frustrating mystery and an addictive one. Of course, none of this works if you don't care about the people that are trapped underground. Enter Rebecca Ferguson. Critics and fans, including myself, agree Ferguson's performance as Juliet Nichols is the spine of the show. Juliet is not your typical chosen one protagonist. She's an engineer, greasy hands, practical problem solver, emotionally guarded, and genuinely more comfortable next to a failing generator than in the mayor's office. When she's pulled into the central mystery of the silo, almost against her will, the show becomes less about a hero destined to uncover the truth, and more about a deeply damaged person trying to fix one more broken system because that's all she knows how to do. What makes her compelling? She doesn't have all the information. She makes real mistakes, she alienates people, and yet she's relentlessly stubborn in the face of a system that wants her to shut up and fall in line. Surrounding her is one of the greatest supporting casts I've ever seen. Tim Robbins as Bernard, the head of IT, playing a soft-spoken bureaucratic villain who genuinely believes he's preserving order. Common as Sims, the enforcer whose loyalty to the system isn't purely cartoonish. And that's not even all of them. Paul Billings, Camille Sims, Shirley, Knox, Walker, all of them playing a crucial role in the story. Together they build a world where everyone thinks they're doing what they must to survive, and for some reason, that's even scarier than just being pure evil. On the surface, Silo is about a mystery. Who built this place? Why are we here? Can we leave? Underneath, it's about something way more uncomfortable. Who gets to control the story of the world you live in? The show constantly circles themes of information control. The people in power decide which historical documents are allowed to exist, which videos are real, and who's allowed to even ask questions. Entire departments exist to monitor, censor, and destroy knowledge that could destabilize the system. And the Silo isn't a full-on cartoonish dictatorship. It's a place where people have jobs, rituals, relationships, and celebrations. The cruelty is subtle. Fertility is tightly managed. Dissenters are framed as mentally ill or selfish, and the ultimate punishment being sent outside. It's all wrapped in a religious-like ritual. Where you live in the silo literally shapes your worldview. People on the top floor see themselves as stewards of the system. People down in mechanical see the rust and the cracks, the strain on the generators. That vertical inequality becomes a huge driver for rebellion and resentment, especially as the story expands in multiple silos in Season 2. What's clever is Silo rarely stops to deliver a big monologue about these themes. They're baked into daily life, the way kids are taught history, the way relics from before are banned, the casual way characters accept that they'll never see the sky. The show trusts you to put it together, and that trust makes the themes land even harder. And let's be honest, Silo is not a breakneck action show. The pacing is deliberate. Some critics even flag the slow burn nature of Season 1 as a minor weakness. But here's why that slower pacing ultimately works for a show like this. Every episode gives you time to marinate in the claustrophobia, long walks up the stairs, awkward silences in cramped apartments, the echo of announcements bouncing through the stairwell. You're constantly reminded there is nowhere else to go. The sound design and score lean into this. Mechanical hums, distant conversations, the creaks of pressure on metal. All of it reinforces that this place is old, strained, and one bad decision away from catastrophe. So when the big moments hit, a rebellion, a cleaning, a discovery in the hidden chamber, they feel huge, precisely because the show has made you live in the quiet for so long. By Season 2, that slow burn starts paying exponential dividends. Rebellions ignite, multiple silos come into play, and the stakes scale from one sheriff's investigation to the fate of tens of thousands of people controlled by a hidden kill switch. This video could easily be 20 minutes long, but because I don't want to spoil the story and I don't want to go too in depth as I want you to watch the show yourself, what does this all boil down to? Well, the silo works because it combines three things most sci-fi shows rarely nail all at once. It gives you a world that feels physically real. You can almost smell the oil and mechanical. You can feel the ache in your legs after walking those stairs. The production design doesn't just look cool, it shapes how the story is told. It gives you a mystery that respects your patience. Answers actually arrive, clues matter, payoffs are baked into the structure of the story, not patched on at the last minute. The show trusts you to follow the breadcrumbs without getting bored, and it gives you characters who feel human inside an inhumane system. Juliet isn't a superhero, Bernard isn't a cartoon villain. Everyone is trapped in a machine that's bigger than they are, and watching them push against its gears is what keeps you watching. In a landscape filled with loud, expensive, disposable sci-fi, Silo is the rare show that slows down, narrows the frame, and asks one terrifying question. If everything you knew about the world came from one single screen, and the people who control the screen told you stepping outside meant certain death, what would it take for you to call their bluff? That's why Silo is so good. This is the first time I made a video like this, so if it feels slightly disconnected or unstructured, then please let me know in the comment section down below so I can try to fix it for the next time I decide to do something like this. All of my previous videos have been on video games, so the fact that I did a show or I was thought about doing a movie, it's a completely different way of doing content. So if you enjoyed, I would really appreciate if you hit the like and subscribe, and if you really enjoyed, you can always become a channel member to support the content. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.